Last week I posted 3 separate polls, each containing a different primary color, where the idea was to see which color we'd end up with. If you clicked on this video you probably know this, but here's the way this works. Screens and color changing lights generally use 3 colors, red, green and blue. Mixing all 3 can give us basically any color depending on their amounts, and I even made a whole video about this. But for whatever reason I got the idea of generating a color by posting some YouTube polls and using their responses. My first thought was pretty simple, a single poll with 3 options, red, green and blue. This already looks like the color pickers on most programs, but this kinda sucks because people would only be able to pick basically 1/3 of the color. I do plan to try that one as well, but for a different experiment. So a better idea was to do 3 separate polls. This way people could pick how much they want for each component. Making the polls was actually a problem in itself, but if you just want the results you can skip to this timestamp. Okay, we're safe now. So here's the deal. I wanted to ask you a very simple question for people to select how much of red they want in the color. But I definitely overthunk about labeling the choices. I wanted to label them something like 0, 0.25, 0.5 and so on, but that doesn't work because YouTube only allows 4 options and writing them in 1/3 is just weird. My next thought was to write them as a range of percentages like this, and that's somehow worse because YouTube displays the results in percentages right next to the labels. And none of these were ever close to being intuitive, so this is what I settled on. And it still kinda went wrong. I said picking a color, and reading the comments kinda suggested that people thought you were supposed to pick one of these 4 colors rather than treating them as an amount. I'm not too worried because I think the result would be kinda like this anyway, and by the second poll I think people got it. Okay, enough yapping, we got colors to mix. The result will be revealed in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's surprisingly good, actually. We somehow got light magenta, which is full red, full blue and a little bit of green. But right before that it seemed like the salmon color was winning, and honestly, I preferred that one. But I'm just glad that we didn't end up with grey. The way this was calculated is simple. All 3 polls have 4 options, meaning each option shows a specific amount of that color. So in total this can represent 64 different color combinations, and the winner is going to be one of these. And if you're like me, you probably want to know what the second and the third colors are, and maybe even a full ranking. Naturally this is also not that straightforward. Well, kinda. The easiest way to sort these colors from least to most voted is to give each option a score depending on their votes. So the top voted option will be worth 4 points and the least will be worth 1. We can add up the corresponding scores from each poll to get the score of that color. Highest scoring color will be the winner, and in this case light magenta, and we can figure out the rest from here. But as you may have noticed, we're gonna have multiple colors in each position except first and last. So while I was hoping to show you a nice top 3 podium, we got 1 color in first place, 3 in second, 6 in third, and before you know it, this is what we get. I guess it's just a centered bell curve though. The top one is the winner and the bottom one is the last one. And to see how the polls directly shaped, so I guess colored, the results, here it is in the form of a bar chart. And here's how your computer shows them. The brightness of each line is basically how the pixels work on your screen. Okay, last one. Here's a breakdown of each poll where I've only kept the colors where the target color was the most dominant. And there's some interesting results here. For example, in top 3, green seems to be the least dominant color except on these 3. Then blue seems to be pretty evenly spread, while red is trending towards the top. Which may be explained by my incompetence, cause the first poll could have been better, but I'm also not sure it would have changed much. But let's cure our color blindness and go back to the full chart. I personally am a fan of the second row, it kinda looks like ice cream. But my favorite has to be the 6th row, which has a lot of unique and vibrant colors. Finally, the last color is black, and I think this shows a weakness of a poll like this one. If people were asked to select the final color itself, I'm pretty sure white would be very slightly lower and black would be very close to it. Because due to the way I did the polls on YouTube, people were asked to select from a range that essentially went from boring to interesting without an indicator of the result. So naturally, the former always plays last. The impact of this probably increases as you go lower on the list, which has more pure colors like red, green or blue. They also seem to get darker. Funnily enough though, dark gray plays higher than light gray. But nothing is perfect, I guess. Also statistically, this is your favorite color now. Enjoy!